Inward swinging door, baseball swing. Man's gonna come up, pry before he pries, sounds his door, sees where his locks are. He's gonna come in here and drive that pick into the door frame. Pry down, and there he is. After he pries it open, he's gonna use his Halligan to control the door and make sure the engine crew's ready.
Alright, so what we're going to talk about now is the baseball bat technique for forcing entry into a door that has a wooden jamb, and it doesn't matter if the door itself is wood or metal. All we really need is a wooden jamb. So the idea is that I'm going to come up, get a rough measurement of where my Halligan, where my pike is going to be, and then double stacked hands, take a swing and sink this pike into the door jamb, and then force the door open. What happens is when this pike is driven into that door jamb, is that this thing will split, and then it'll ruin the integrity of those locking systems that are sunken into the door jamb. So this entire wood assembly will split and allow you to force a door in. Okay. Now, if you happen to hit back here and you go to force the door, more than likely you'll rip the outside of the jamb off. No big deal. Just swing again. Now, you're not trying to necessarily thread the needle and sink that pike right in that crease. You just don't want to get too far out to where you're going to lose that leverage and just rip the backside of the jamb off. So again, come up. I'm going to get a rough measurement. You know, some people will try before they pry. I'm here. Step back. Sink it in. You're in the door. Okay? And as you can see here, where those locking assemblies were when that pike was sunken in, this entire thing split, ruining the integrity of the locks, and then you force the door in. Now, from here you could go up with the adze if you wanted to. It's just not as explosive as going sideways and shouldering into the door. Okay?
We're going to do a baseball swing method real quick. Big thing I found that helps out is not standing in front of the door and trying to swing in, because the curve of your pike will end up coming out. And you want to get it kind of going in and split along where the actual lock goes into the frame. So the term basically is you want to stand to the side of the door a little bit. You don't want to be standing on home plate. You want to stand in the batter's box when you're swinging in, okay? See the placement? Where it went in? It actually drove in, and it's making the split along where the actual lock is in. So it's pretty much probably opened itself by now if you can get good placement every time. If I was standing over here, the pike would have gone in, but it would have been curving back towards me, which is not where I want it to be. I want it to go in as far as I can, okay? Now, it can work like that, but you're using more of a leverage to open the door. This way, I literally probably cracked the frame enough where I could push this door in right now. And the great thing about the baseball swing that I like, rather than forcible entry where you're going to open the door, you control the door a lot better. So as you come back with it, you know, the door is pretty much controlled. It's not going to swing open violently, right? You can control how far it opens, okay? So all I'm doing is checking it, making sure it's open. Now close it right here and get ready. Make sure the nozzle team is ready before the door actually swings open and allows a lot of oxygen to come in, okay? Thanks.
Are you okay?
Back to First Aid Firefighter. Today we're going to talk about a forcible entry method known as the baseball swing. This is a method that's used on inward swinging doors, residential most of the time, and these doors have to be inset in a wooden jamb. This method would not work in a steel or a center block jamb because we're not able to drive the pick portion of the tool, whether it's a Halligan or in this case the pig that we're using, into that jamb to use the tool as leverage. So what we're going to do, number one, is come up. We want to go as close to the locking mechanism as possible. We don't want to go high. We don't want to go too low. We want to get as close to that locking mechanism as we can. We want to measure our swing. We want to come back and we want to drive that pick into the wooden jamb. Once we've driven it into that jamb, that is when we can use the tool to actually leverage against the door and push it inside. So here we go. We're going to come up to our door. We realize it's a wooden jamb. We see it's inward swinging away from us, so we're going to measure. We're going to come in as close to that mechanism as possible. Drive it in. Come up. Make your measurement so when you swing back, if you don't measure right and you come up, you're going to hit there. Or you may be short and hit here. So you want to get a good measurement where you want it. Come back. Swing. Again, once you drove it in there, now you use that tool. And in you are. Just remember.
Now when we approach a door, obviously first thing we're going to do is try before we pry. We find a door that needs to be forced. And instead of standing here and driving into the jamb, we're actually going to stand slightly to the side and try to get more of an angle just above our lock mechanism. You can see right there on one hit, on behind the jamb, I've damaged the door and its locking mechanism, and I've got more of the axe to use to force that door in.